This is a super heavyweight motorcycle, the Kawasaki ZZR1400, otherwise known as the ZX-14r. And arguably, it is the pinnacle of super heavyweight bikes. There are other motorcycles that also fit this same description, the Hayabusa of course, and Honda's Blackbird. They are big, they're mean, they're fast, butt tons of torque, but do they make sense anymore? Let's find out. Don't you think it's funny, guys and gals, that these kinds of motorcycles seem underrated? Like, everyone knows about the Hayabusa and a lot of people know about the ZX-14, but they're not very popular. And it's interesting that, because literally they are some of the best motorcycles you can buy. They're fun to ride, they're super fast, have a load of torque. They might not rev as high as some 1000cc sport bikes do, but everything else is pretty much on point. I mean, let's be honest here. 1000cc sport bikes are track bikes. They're track bikes with headlamps. Let's be honest here. That's what they are. But if you want a very similar experience that's more comfortable and more suited for street use, then these super heavyweights are the bikes you probably want. Yeah, they are a bit bulky, they are a bit heavy, but they're still nimble enough if you did want to take them around a track anyway. And I mean, yeah, they might not be the fastest anymore. 1 liters have come a long way in the last 10 years, and some of them are faster now than the likes of the ZX-14 and the Hayabusa, but the one thing that they will never ever be able to do is produce the same amount of torque that the super heavyweights can. And that's what makes a motorcycle fun in a lot of cases, guys, is the torque. I've said this before, where you're going to use torque a lot more than horsepower on the street, so it makes sense to have a nice amount of torque throughout the entire range, especially down lower in the range anyway. That's one of the criticisms I have of the ZX-14, is I would love to have had a little bit more torque down low, and some of you in the comments in the past have said that, well, if you go ahead and get it reflashed, then that you'll get that. And it's something that I am looking to do in the near future, I think, is maybe do some performance mods on the ZZR to really bring it out of its shell. But even in stock form, these bikes are absolutely amazing. I mean, yeah, okay, there's always been this rivalry between the Hayabusa and the ZX-14, and prior to that, the Hayabusa and the Blackbird. But they're all amazing motorcycles, and really you can't go wrong with any of them. I've said this before a number of times. But everyone seems to love the 1 liters, the 1 liter sport bikes. Everyone seems to love those, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, guys, they are overrated. Yeah, they're fun as hell. Yeah, they're really nimble, they're really lightweight. Yeah, they go like a friggin' rocket, but they're overrated, especially for street use. If you want something for the track, then yeah, a 1000 or even a 600cc sport bike is going to serve you really well. But if it's literally just for street use, guys, there's hardly any need for them whatsoever, and they are overrated. They're very uncomfortable, and let's be honest, you're going to want to ride your motorcycle as much as you possibly can, and bikes like that don't really give you that option. I mean, unless you have a lot of dexterity, then maybe you'll be able to ride those kinds of bikes for a long period of time, but I don't know. For me, it's hard. It's hard. Riding those kinds of bikes is I wouldn't say difficult over long distances, but you do have to have more brakes. You do have to have more rest. This might just be a me thing, but I tend to get cramps in my hips and in my calves. So for me, riding those kinds of bikes for a long time is kind of a no-go, as fun as they are in short bursts. Yeah, I really struggle I really struggle with those over longer distances. But having said that, at some point or other, I will be buying an R1. At some point or other, I will be buying a ZX-10R, and hopefully, if I have the funds, I'll be buying myself a Ninja H2. Now, the Kawasaki's H2 lineup is kind of like the future. I mean, you can't buy a ZZR1400 from new anymore here in the UK and in Europe just because emission laws and all that nonsense. So yeah, it's a real pain, and I mean that's a topic for another video really there, guys and gals. But companies are using the 1000cc platform now to kind of like replace these bikes, and that's the thing. As fun as they are, the 1000s, as fun as forced induction is and all that, with the supercharged H2 lineup, there's a lot of people that argue, and I don't know, I think I'm in this camp as well. There's no replacement for displacement. There's just something about it. When you have a massive engine that produces massive amounts of torque, there's just something very special about it, and very inspiring and all that stuff. And that's the thing, if you want the ultimate motorcycle, then you want a torque monster. And I mean, yeah, okay, you can get bikes like cruisers that have a load of torque and not a lot of horsepower, but that's not really what I'm talking about here. Yeah, you're going to want a little bit of horsepower as well, don't get me wrong on that. But still, that's what makes cruisers fun. It's the fact that they have a butt ton of torque. And when you think about it from that perspective, it kind of starts to make sense that torque is really what you want. So yeah, I mean, these bikes aren't the fastest anymore, they're not the baddest, but they're still epic, they're still amazing, they're still awesome, they're still a load of fun to ride. And as much as bikes like the H2SX claim to replace platforms like the ZZR1400, I'm sorry, but I don't buy it. They're not the same bike. I've done a video like that before. I'll leave it up in the top corner for you to watch afterwards if you want to. But they are not the same. They're not the same. They don't produce as much power on tap, even though it's got forced induction, you know, with that supercharger. It still doesn't have the same bang, the same thrill as this bike does. And I'm sure that's the same between the Hayabusa and, say, the GSXR1000. Yeah, but times are changing, guys. Times are changing, and as much as I really believe in platforms like this, where I think they should be investing the R&D budgets to try and bring out more of them, just because, even just for legacy reasons, you know, I really think that there is a spot for these kinds of super heavyweight bikes in the public domain. I really do. Riders love these bikes. All of you lot that watch our videos, you are fans of this motorcycle, you are fans of super heavyweight bikes, and so it's a real shame that Kawasaki, Honda, Suzuki are ditching their efforts to produce these bikes. Even Yamaha, when they used to make their big cruisers back in the day, they don't make them anymore. They don't make their super heavy cruisers, and again, I bet you they were a load of fun. There was a mate of mine that used to have a big Yami cruiser, and I can't remember what it's called anymore. Is it an XJS? I can't remember, but yeah, I think it was a 1600. And yeah, man, that was badass. That was so badass. And I would have loved to have had a go on it. I never got the chance, but see, motorcycles like that, you know, Yamaha don't make them anymore, and it's such a shame. It really is, guys. And the only way how we're going to be able to bring these kinds of motorcycles back, to convince these manufacturers to keep making these bikes, is to make our voices heard, you know? Everyone goes on about ZX-10s, everyone goes on about R1s and all that, and yeah, fine, they're fantastic bikes, they're fun bikes, but there's something about these that, one, makes more sense for the street, but two, makes them more fun. Because you don't have to have high revs to have power, you know, you have power right from
Rev 100.
I've got a new rear tyre on the ZZR, so I can't go too crazy today, but I'm sorry, but there is no replacement for that experience right there. There's no replacement. That right there is why you buy these bikes, because they're torque monsters and they are so fun, so fun. Anyway, guys and girls, that'll do for today's video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you want to see bikes like this have a future to continue going, then definitely make your voices heard in the comments, guys. We need more people like us who are willing to stand up for these platforms, because if we don't, they are going to disappear. And fair play to Suzuki for bringing out a 3rd generation Hayabusa so late in the game, you know, with electric just round the corner and all that. Fair play to them. And that's what I want to see from Kawasaki as well, and Yamaha, and from Honda. I want to see them bring back their super heavyweights. I don't care what form it's in, if it's a cruiser, if it's a sport bike, sport tourer, I don't care. I want to see them make those big bikes, because it's just, they're legends, guys. They are absolute legends. Anyone that has ridden a motorcycle like this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching. Leave a like, hit subscribe. Make sure to go check out our other ZZR1400 videos, and we will catch you all in the next video. Guys and gals, have a good one.